that's a bit too long. But in the beginning, there was a dream. All of you know that Baden-Powell, in the beginning of the last century, has started an organization which tried to offer to young children a future, a vision for the future, try to help them build their own personality, try to make them work together in an international environment. And to make that idea concrete, he organized what was called a World Jamboree. The first one was held in 1920 in London. And this was such a huge success by the participants, not financially because it was almost bankrupt at that time, but for the participants were so enticed with that event, and it was such a big success that he thought we must create something which is permanent, which sticks, where people can come all the time, where the doors are always open. So that was the original idea after 1920 by Baden-Powell, and he started to look for a place. And he started to look in different countries, and he started to look in Switzerland. And with the help of Walter von Bonstedt, and I'll come back to this gentleman later, who was at the time the leader of the Swiss Scout part, they found this derelict chalet on the other side of the river, which Mark has already mentioned belonged to the railway workers at that time. And he thought that would be an ideal situation, an ideal location to create what he called a permanent mini-jamboree. And he had a message at that time, and I want to read you that message, if the light is good enough, because it's a bit difficult to read. He said, "Brother Scouts, I ask you to make a solemn choice. The Jamboree has taught us that if we exercise mutual forbearance and give and take, then there is sympathy and harmony. If it be your will, let us go forth from here, fully determined that we will develop among ourselves and our boys that comradeship through the worldwide spirit of the Scout Brotherhood, so that we may help to develop peace and happiness in the world and goodwill among men. Brother Scouts, answer me, will you join me?" That message was a beginning for many people to start working on this center. And this Walter von Bonstetter was captured by that message. He thought this is really something that we have to do. So from that on, we're talking 1920, 1923, and the World Scout movement developed to what it is today. And I'm sure Luc will later mention a few words of what World Scouting is today. There's another element that I wanted to mention, and that is Mr. von Bonstetten. The Scout Center had some difficult times in the beginning, financially, to make sure that everything that was needed to be done could be done. And when this building was bought, it was bought for 49,000 Swiss francs, which at that time was, of course, an enormous amount. And if you take into consideration that a lot of work had to be done to renovate the building to make it applicable for people to stay, there was a lot of money needed. So this Mr. von Bonstetten was very, very instrumental in the first fundraising efforts. And we've been reading very hard in his books and his notes how to do this, because we needed a lot of money for this building as well. We were very happy that there were so many people that helped us out. And thanks to Mr. von Bonstetten, who started from the beginning to say, well, we have to make sure that all the money that we ask from our scouts who come here is only used to operate it. That is not enough to make investments. We don't want to have high prices because then people do not come. So we have to have a price level which is acceptable to scouts from all over the world. So it is not expensive. But on the other hand, we need money to do things like this. So fundraising is a very important element for the Scout Center. And we're very grateful for all those that help us do that job. Then I wanted to make a jump to the time that we are now, but I want to read you another thing, which was said here as a leading theme at the first World Rover meet to take place here. And I know there are people in the room here who were there in 1951. And it said, "Soon the fire of friendship spreads from one to another, and bonds are tied, which will last a lifetime, and everyone on returning home is the richer for memories and dreams of Kandersteg. So that this chalet is becoming the little permanent jamboree for which it was devised." So in 1951, this message of this international brotherhood was very well established. To today, We have 70,000 overnights every year. People from over 40 countries, staff members from, I don't know exactly, Mark, you will know by heart maybe, also around 40, 45 from all parts of the world, come here every year again to make true this dream that I was talking to you about in the beginning. I received an email last night from the chairman of the World Scout Committee, and I will read that to you if I may. On behalf of the World Scout Committee and personally, I am sending to you and all Scout guests gathering at Kandersteg today our best wishes for a wonderful day and a successful opening ceremony of the Kander-Lodge and the official naming of the headquarters. The World Scout Committee acknowledges the importance of the Kandersteg International Scout Center as a laboratory and place where our young people can experiment and enjoy our founder's dream of a dedicated site for a permanent mini jamboree. No doubt that these new facilities will provide even greater opportunities for more young people to enjoy the beauty of scouting. Our Secretary General, Luc Panesol, will be with you, and I will give him the floor in a minute. But before I do that, I was reading from a book, and you may have wondered where I was reading from. This is a book that was published also today. We were happy it's still hot. Which was produced and gives you an overview of the history of Kandersteg. And it was not done only with all those yellow pictures that you usually see in a history book, but it was done from today's view on the world, with the view of young people. So this book is on sale today. So if you are interested in buying it, please do. There are two opportunities. We have a signed book, which is signed by the three agreement parties that I talked about, this Mouvement Scouts Suisse, World Scout Organization, and the Kandersteg Association, and we are selling them for 50 francs. That is more than if you buy one without signatures in it. And why? Because we are fundraising, I was telling you about it. But we don't want to embarrass you, there's also a cheaper option available for 13 francs 50. So we would encourage you, of course, to buy the more expensive edition, because that helps us going forward with this center. But it is my privilege and honor to be able to hand over a few of the first editions. I have here in my hand the number 1, and I wanted to provide the number 1 to Luc Panesol, representing the World Organization of the Scout Movement. Luc. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Luc. Yes, no, please stay. The second edition, and there's only one first and one second, so the value is of course the same. I would like to give to the Mouvement Scout de Suisse, and we have two representatives there, is Anne and Andrea. Would you please come forward? So Luc, would you like to speak some words?